What's going on, everybody? Wes Hodkowitz here. Packers preview brought to you by Microsoft Copilot, joined alongside my colleague at Packers.com, Mike Spofford, here to preview Week 15, the Green Bay Packers and Denver Broncos. A matchup we have been talking about all week is finally here, Mike. The Broncos at 11-2 atop the AFC. The Packers at 9-3-1 atop the NFC North and trying to climb a little bit higher on their side of the conference.
Absolutely. I mean, we've sort of talked about it at the beginning of the week. You don't see AFC versus NFC matchups usually this late in the season where both teams are, up there as playoff contenders and competing for those top spots in the conference. But here we are. The Broncos have won 10 in a row. The Packers have won 4 in a row. Let's see what happens.
Mike and I will be answering all of your questions here on Packers Preview for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Be sure to submit those. God bless you.
Sorry.
Be sure to submit those on X, YouTube, and Facebook. Our wonderful social media department will send them to me. I will bounce them off the man drinking water presently. I will also mention a 3:25 p.m. Central start time on CBS this Sunday. Mike, as the questions start to come in, I will mention the Green Bay Packers did submit their injury report moments before we stepped into the studio. 4 players are questionable. That includes Josh Jacobs with a knee injury that he returned to practice from on Friday.
That's right.
In a limited capacity. Also Savion Williams, Lucas Van Ness, and Christian Welch, who's working his way through the concussion protocol, but as Matt LaFleur said, making progress there as well. Certainly all the eyes are on number 8, and when you look at the Denver Broncos, the number 2 ranked run defense, this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll see. It's a good sign, obviously, that Josh Jacobs got back to practice on Friday. It sounds like, things are progressing in the right direction there. Hopefully, he feels good on Saturday when he gets on the plane and no issues and he's good to go. Because, even though Josh Jacobs has not had a 100-yard rushing game yet this year, you look at his production. I mean, every week it's 80 to 90 yards. He's getting in the end zone. I mean, the production and what he delivers for this offense is very consistent, very reliable, and Packers are going to need him against this Broncos defense.
We'll start off on X with your favorite painter, Bob Ross. A name of the famous painter, Bob Ross.
The happy painter.
Yeah.
No less.
Bo Nix's stats don't jump off the page, but the team is on a big win streak. What part of his game will be the biggest threat to the Packers defense?
It's the fourth quarter, quite frankly. I mean, the reason Bo Nix's overall statistics are not jumping off the page, which they don't, is because he has a lot of ups and downs throughout games, but he has been a big-time clutch quarterback in the fourth quarter, putting together the drives that the Broncos need to be able to make comebacks, to be able to win games. I mean, this is a team that they were down 3 scores to both the Eagles and the Giants in the fourth quarter, and Bo Nix helped bring them back to pull out both of those victories. And yeah, when the game is on the line, not only is this a confident young quarterback, he's also a quarterback who will take off and run when he needs to.
This question is from Full Send Nate on Facebook. Will we see Dobbs and Golden this week? I'm glad you asked that, Nate. We do know, as I mentioned, that Savion Williams questionable for this one, the foot injury he's kind of been dealing with going back to really early November. He's missed the last 2 games with it. But the other aspect of it was last week, Golden only played a handful of snaps. Dontavian Wicks only played a handful of snaps, but neither of whom have an injury status, have a game status for Sunday. Both will play in this game. Getting this nucleus, this receiver room back to full health, or at least close to it as you're going to get, I think is going to be important for this Green Bay Packers offense moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and
Jaden Reed too, by the way.
Yeah.
No injury status.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Packers are getting healthier at the receiver position at the right time, and you know how this goes, Wes. I mean, we talk about it all the time. The more options Matt LaFleur has in the passing game, the more options Jordan Love has in terms of the routes and the concepts. It's how you can figure out over the course of the game how you're going to have success against a certain defense, because there are certain guys within the receiving corps who do certain things well, better than other guys, et cetera. And when you have everybody available, then you have all those options on the table to go and attack.
This question on X from Nick Knack. With Phillip Rivers back in the league, how will he perform, and which other quarterback would you bring back to the league, and why? Thanks, and go Pack, go.
Yeah, the Phillip Rivers story is really something. It sounds like Shane Steichen, the Colts coach, is still being a bit coy as to whether it's going to be Riley Leonard or Phillip Rivers on Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. But yeah, I mean, at 44 years old, 5 years retired, if Rivers comes back and plays, I actually said, I think it was in, because you know how this goes, we try to remember where we say certain things. I think it was in my midweek live chat on Wednesday where I said, you know, I think Phillip Rivers is probably a Pro Football Hall of Famer already, but as far as maybe being on the fence or not quite sure if he's going to get in or not, if he comes back and wins one game as a starting quarterback right now, like that cements his status as a Hall. I mean, seriously, who comes back at that position after 5 years and can go out and win? If he can do that, if he can accomplish that, I think there's no question he gets into Canton.
I've always been a big Phil Rivers guy. He had some tremendous games against the Green Bay Packers over the years.
Oh, he did, absolutely.
I don't even know what his career passer rating was against the Packers over the totality of his career, but I imagine it was pretty impressive through both, you know, his time with the Chargers and then even what he did his last.
I want to say he averaged somewhere close to like 400 yards a game against Green Bay because he did have some big time games.
Just a remarkable talent. Obviously, a shame he never played in a Super Bowl, but I'll tell you this, man. That Joe Flacco line has stuck with me from a few months ago, which was basically, if I don't come back, this is the only time to know whether or not I could still go, right?
Yeah,
you could still play.
that's
You're
right.
only going to get older. The opportunity of the door is only going to close. Phillip Rivers, there have been rumblings for years about him potentially being interested in a comeback. Well, the call was made, and if you go back also with Steichen, those guys go back to their time together with the Chargers.
Yeah,
I mean, they worked together with the Chargers.
Absolutely.
They've talked about how Phillip Rivers ran this offense with his high school team. So if it was ever going to happen, let's see what happens. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other part of the question, like, you know, what other quarterback would you like to see come back? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there isn't anybody jumping out at me necessarily. I mean, I've always
Lynn Dickey?
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see him at the Pepper Alley tomorrow in Denver. But no, I mean, I've always, you know, you always wonder to me about the guys who, you know, sort of had the injuries and their bodies betrayed them, and you know, and I think about a guy like Cam Newton, for example, who won an MVP in this league, got to a Super Bowl, you know, with the Carolina Panthers. But then it's like, you know, the injuries kind of started to pile up, and then he never really built on an MVP season, you know, in the peak of his career. And
he was out of the NFL by 33.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought that Cam Newton would have been around longer.
I think the other one, and this is such low-hanging fruit, but Andrew Luck, when you
Yes,
the guy that was doing it at a high level but decided to walk away, you don't see that very often.
No, he walked away on his own terms,
Yeah.
and you know, if that's what he wanted to do, then more power to him. But yeah,
I'd like to see come back.
But yeah, I mean, Andrew Luck had a lot of good football left in him if he had wanted to keep playing. I think we all know that.
That's a good question. We'll have to keep thinking about that one. Maybe put a pin in it and think back to next week. By the way, Mike Spofford, Wes Hockwitz. It seems so casual today. Packers preview.
Casual Friday.
Exactly. Packers preview brought to you by Microsoft Copilot. Answering your questions on X, YouTube, and Facebook, the Packers social pages. Submit those. We'll see what Mike has to say about it. This question's from Sam on Facebook. Sam Miller. Will Jacobs be playing? We'll see. But I think he had a quote in the story that I wrote today, which is, I mean, you basically have to tell Josh Jacobs he's not playing.
Yeah.
If there's any
They're going to have
opening,
to hide his uniform and
yes.
hide his helmet if they don't want him to play on Sunday, because if it were up to him, he'd be playing.
But the fact that, I mean, Mile High, he's played there before, obviously with his time with the Raiders.
He's had some good games against the Broncos. Now, this is a different Broncos defense, I think, than what Josh Jacobs faced during his time with the Raiders. But his career numbers against the Broncos are pretty good.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Emmanuel Wilson also talked in the locker room on Thursday. He's going to be ready. The one start he's had, his only NFL start against Minnesota, was very impressive last month. 28 carries, I think it was, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. Talented guy if they have to turn that direction. Wilson also, although the topic and the narrative has been, I think, really well discussed at this point, but he did play for the Broncos. He had 72 hours with the Broncos. They let him go. 10 days later, he ends up in Green Bay, and the rest was history. He would be a potential option as well. Even if Jacobs is healthy and is going, he could also be a guy that could help sub in and maybe take some of that load off of him.
No doubt.
Okay, this one question is from Ellie Elbow. Will the altitude play an effect? Wrong use of, it's not using the verb, not the, okay. What kind of role will the altitude have in Denver? Obviously, and how has the team handled it in the past? I remember talking to Kenny Clark coming off the field after the joint practice when we were there last year, and last August, and him mentioning, like, it's real. Like, you feel it. And especially, and I thought Josh Jacobs, again, a guy who's played in that weather, he mentioned, like, the biggest key there is you got to basically get your first wind in by the time you even start the game. You got to be on your second wind already. You got to really push yourself and acclimate your lungs and your body to that weather. I was talking with Bo Melton about this as well. He mentioned this week the training staff talked to them about hydration from Monday all the way up until game time. There's so many little boxes the Packers are looking to check to hopefully be as well acclimated to that conditions and that weather as you possibly can be.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really all you can do. The biggest thing that I keep hearing and that I've heard over the years when the Packers have made these trips to Denver is to hydrate. And apparently, you know, like the altitude, it sort of, you know, you're not really thirsty, but you're supposed to just keep drinking water anyway, and that's something that the players will have to be mindful of. I mentioned this, you know, earlier in the week, I think on Unscripted with you, that you go back just 2 years ago when the Packers were playing in Denver against the Broncos. The Packers actually went into the fourth quarter down 16-3 in that game. Came back, were the better team in the fourth quarter, then unfortunately, you know, lost on a late field goal and then an interception on the final drive. But the altitude really wasn't a factor for the Packers in that game because late in the game is when the Packers made their big comeback and really were the better team at that time. So hopefully that proves true again, and hopefully the Packers aren't down by 13 points going into the fourth quarter this time.
Couple more minutes left. Randy on Facebook. Hi, Mike and Wes. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and your families. How's it going?
Just fine.
Okay. And any updates on the Packers' injured players? What do we have to offer from this week? I mean, there was a lot of updates. I think first and foremost, Lucas Van Ness getting back on the practice field. He was limited all week long. He missed 5 games with the foot. He came back, played 6 snaps against the Vikings, has missed the last 2 games now with the foot, but appears to be making progress there. That would be an important player, I feel like, especially with some of the third down concepts. The 3-tech interior rush, you can do even more with Micah Parsons if you could get Van Ness back on the field. And independent, obviously we've already talked about Josh Jacobs a little bit, but with Savion Williams, this is a guy that, if you remember, I mean, he made a critical catch against the Giants. Packers maybe don't win that game, don't mount that comeback without that. That was like the Dontavian Wicks catch before Dontavian Wicks, right? A week later on Thanksgiving. But unfortunately for him, he's been dealing with this foot, which I did look. He's had it since week 10. So it's been the last 5-6 weeks that he's been dealing with it. If he's back, that's not only a kickoff returner that you get back, that's kind of a gadget player they've been using on offense. 19 touches this season, I think 106 yards, also had a receiving touchdown. And then most importantly, the Matthew Golden piece. It's awesome that Jaden Reed's back. Obviously, Christian Watson is playing like unbelievably high level right now. But Golden was a guy that in the first half of the season was trending upwards. The explosive plays were there. Unfortunately, then he has the shoulder, then it's the wrist. If you get him back for 20, 25 snaps even in Denver, the different machinations of an offense you can run with that personnel definitely, I think, kind of opens that playbook up even more.
Yeah, I think we've all been waiting for that opportunity offensively where the Packers' 3-receiver set is Watson, Reed, and Golden, just to get, you know, all of the speed out there. And that's not taking anything away from Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks and what they've done, but they aren't the speed burners. We know who the 3 fastest receivers are for the Packers, and it would be really cool to see them out there together. The other thing I'll say about Savion Williams, and this is taking nothing away from Bo Melton, who's done a really good job on kickoff return, but Savion Williams has had some really nice kickoff returns for this Packers special teams unit. He has been able to break tackles at times. He's been able to fall forward and get some of those extra yards.
Yeah.
He's had a number of kickoff returns out past the 35, out to the 40, maybe the 42, 43 yard line. Don't discount the value of that, especially against a defense as good as the Broncos. The better field position you're in to start the drive, the better chance you have to make something happen.
Question here. This one is from Sam from down the street. What is that dance move all the players have been doing? Are you familiar with that dance move?
This thing?
Yeah, well, you got to get it right, though. It's the scuba.
The scuba.
That's what Bo Melton did. It was the thing that I think Jaden Reed has been doing. After Bo's touchdown, they all did it. You want to do it? You know it? Go up here and then. You got to go quick, though. Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Scuba.
It's a scuba.
Self-contained.
Because this is like the scuba fin, and then you're doing, and this is like I think it's like the mask.
Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
See, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You always take it to the next level.
Yeah.
A little bit more detailed. But yeah, that's what that move is. And what does it mean? I think it just means just a form of celebration. I don't even know that one.
Yeah.
These are the things that all the kids do. And the older I get, the less I understand.
Welcome to my world, my friend. Welcome to my world.
It was a good run. Youth treated me well for as long as I was able to possess it. Do you want to answer Doris Pringle here before we get keys of victory and get out of here?
As long as she doesn't want to make me do anything that I'm going to regret.
Let's see here. Okay, Doris Pringle. How is this is actually a pretty good question. How is the new O-line playing now that Escalade is at guard? It's actually a really good question. Do you want
Escalade? I hadn't heard that one for a while.
Yeah, Anthony Belton,
that's
Escalade.
right, Escalade.
Why don't we answer that first, and then I'll give you the rest of the question.
Well, I mean, you like the fact that the Packers appear after a lot of moving parts and injuries and guys trying to play through injuries and everything else, that these last few games, they've settled on where they're at with their best five, and that group is settling in and really playing some pretty good football. And we know what Rasheed Walker is at left tackle, what Zach Tom is at right tackle. This matchup against the Broncos in particular, with Zach Allen and Franklin Myers, the hyphenated last name guy, on the interior for Denver. Those two guys on the inside against this revamped interior of the healthy Aaron Banks at left guard, Sean Ryan in for Elton Jenkins at center, and then the Escalade rookie Anthony Belton at right guard. That could be the matchup that decides this game, quite frankly.
I agree with you.
It's big time.
Because it has so many tentacles, I think would be the right word, that touch so many different aspects of this game, right? When you talk about it doesn't matter whether it's Josh Jacobs, whether it's Emmanuel Wilson, it could be Chris Brooks, whoever's running the football, the Packers have to win on first down.
Yeah.
The whole battle between the number one ranked first down offense or third down offense versus the number one ranked third down defense, it starts on down one. Mm-hmm. And the closer you're able to get to moving the chains and keeping it third and manageable is going to be key. I absolutely love everything about Anthony Belton. As a lot of people talk about, it has not been perfect yet. But this guy, for a second-round pick, that is making a transition. He was a college tackle at NC State, and he has owned that right guard position. Yeah. And for him, we've seen a lot of these rotations, Mike. They've done it at right guard in the past. They've done it at left tackle, right tackle. This is something that has been a staple of Matt LaFleur's time. Anthony Belton got one little whiff of right guard and ran away with it. Mm-hmm. And I still think the Packers have a very talented young man in Jordan Morgan that down the line next year is going to be competing for a starting spot. But I just think it shows you the type of road grading tendencies that are there with Belton. He moves people. You get the technique piece down.
Yeah.
Whoo, Nelly.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a really talented player.
Yeah, I think so too. I like what he's doing. And I mean, you go back to, I remember we were talking on Unscripted after that preseason game in Indianapolis, when things kind of went haywire for Belton with the penalties, the formation stuff and whatever, and getting yelled at as he walked off the field. And, The Packers coaches put him back out there in the second half and said, go play football, kid, let's go. And I said at that time after that game, that might be the best day for Anthony Belton's development as a rookie for this upcoming season. And now look where we are in December. He's starting at right guard. As you said, he's owned it the day that he stepped into that position, and the Packers offensive line is better for it.
And I love the idea. Everyone's so afraid of failure in the NFL. And obviously so. Everybody, you go into the preseason, you have a poor game, any player, everyone is going to jump on you right away, right?
Yeah, everybody wants to judge you and say, oh, this guy's a bust, he can't play, this and that. I mean, how many fans did we hear from like, oh, they should just cut Anthony Belton after the Colts game? It was a disaster, right? No, it's not how this works.
Learn.
Yeah.
And the ability to make those corrections in that setting, that is why, to me, there's still value in the preseason, because you are developing and you're callousing yourself in that environment. So when you actually are playing in pivotal games in week 13, 14, and 15, you're ready for it. So
no doubt.
Kudos Anthony Belton. Excited to see where his career goes from here. Okay, here's the second half of that question. This is for you. Favorite tattoo, or which is your next tattoo? And can you do the John Cena "You Can't See Me" for my grandson Carson? He doesn't have a car. Oh my God, that's a supreme inside joke. Sorry, go ahead.
I have no tattoos.
Really?
No, none.
I would have had you down for at least 2.
No, sorry, none. And 2, I know who John Cena is, but that's about it.
This is tomorrow's his final match.
Oh,
he's retiring tomorrow.
He's retiring. Okay.
Can't see me. This has been the hand gestures episode of Packers Preview.
Okay.
All right. I got to get to a Christmas party. You want to wrap this thing up?
Go for it.
Packers, Broncos. Again, 3:25 p.m. Central Start Time, a game that can be viewed on CBS. The Packers are trying to move this win streak to 5 in a row. They're trying to end the Denver Broncos win streak at 10 in a row.
Yeah.
What is it going to take? How do the Packers walk out of Empower Field at Mile High Stadium with a victory on Sunday evening?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it, the matchup of the Broncos defensive front against the Packers offensive line. They lead the league with 55 sacks. You know, they're chasing that Chicago Bears 1985 Bears record of 72 sacks. It's all about protecting the quarterback and giving Jordan Love a chance to make plays. And that also goes into what you said about winning on first down, setting up the right situations. It's also about, getting the running game going so that, guess what? If it is 3rd and 3, maybe the Packers are going to run the ball on 3rd and 3. It's not just an automatic pass play because you're running the ball well enough that you can keep the whole playbook open in those 3rd and manageable situations. So that's protecting the quarterback, giving Love a chance to make plays is what this game's about.
A lot is going to go into winning this game for Green Bay, but I just want to mention one thing that we haven't talked too much about in our platforms other than maybe Inbox. Special teams is going to be critical in this one, Michael. Marvin Mims is probably the most dynamic returner in the National Football League right now, both on kickoff returns and punts, the guy's an all-pro and in terms of a punt returner.
Had a touchdown last
week and was the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. The Packers have to be able to find a way to control him. So that's on the directional punting of Daniel Whelan, if it comes to that, if the Packers do indeed have to punt. I was talking with Bo Melton about that, Zane Anderson. These guys understand the assignment. Rich Bisaccia last night was talking about it. This is probably about as tough of a test as they're going to face all season. When you look at all 3 phases of the Packers right now, there is a lot of improvement that I've seen in the second half of the season. I think the special teams is kind of hitting a crescendo here. They're kind of been on the incline here. The Broncos are probably as balanced as any team in the National Football League right now. They do everything well.
Yeah, that's the thing. There isn't a glaring weakness with the Denver Broncos. And when you're talking about special teams, it goes back to what we were discussing earlier in this conversation about field position. The Broncos have a really good defense. So do the Packers. This game could come down to the scoring opportunities that are created by field position, where you don't have to go 80 yards for a touchdown. You might only have to go 50 or 55, right? Because of a play on special teams like that. So everything is going to matter because these two teams are very, very even, I think, and I'm expecting a 60-minute battle that goes all the way down to the end.
What did you say? What is one last look on tomorrow? Your column. I don't even know.
Talking about honestly the Packers not so pretty history in Denver. 1-7 all time in road games against the Broncos. The one win, one that will never be forgotten, with the Favre to Jennings, the big bomb on the first play of overtime. That was now 18 years ago, 2007. Wow. But that's the Packers' only win in their franchise's history in Denver. It's time to get number 2.
The Green Bay Packers are due. I did not mean to make that rhyme, but we did. He's Mike Spofford. I'm Wes Hockwitz. We thank you as joining us as always on Packers Preview, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot. Stay tuned to Packers.com and the Packers mobile app, which, by the way, I got to mention before we go. This voting thing is incredible for the Pro Bowl. If you've not had a chance to experience it yet, I have to implore you to do so. We have the double voting that begins, I believe, on Sunday.
Sunday and Monday, double voting. Yeah,
double
voting on X for Pro Bowl votes.
Our social media department has knocked this out of the park. Our graphics folks, I mean, it is amazing. 1772 Big Boom. You can call the Big Boom hotline like we did last week. Be sure to vote for Packers players. 19 spots the Packers have taken up in the top 10 voting here in individual categories. Awesome to see.
Yeah.
And hats off to our social media department for the job that they've done with that. In terms of content ourselves, Mike wrote this week on the task at hand here against this very dangerous Denver defense. I wrote about Javon Bullard, and I think he's having a phenomenal season. Doesn't have like that interception that everybody is like, oh, this guy's really good. But he does everything well. He's healthy this season for the most part, plays with an impact, and also kind of let us in a little bit into his psychology for that position and the way that he was raised, kind of reflecting how he plays nickel corner.
Maybe that big turnover play is coming for Javon.
It very well might be.
Yeah.
He's Mike Spofford. I'm Wes Hockwitz. Nick behind the camera. Everybody back in our studios. And until next time, for Mike and Wes, we'll see you later.